Okay, so this video is intended to kind of go over the course syllabus and the assignments and more of the details of the course that I would share, just like any course, face-to-face or online or otherwise. So we're going to jump right into it. You should be able to see me, but I'm going to make myself smaller and off to the side. And behind me is a copy of a syllabus. Now, what I've decided to do is for sake of what I think is going to be more helpful, I'm going to upload a syllabus that I use for my face-to-face class because we're doing the same assignments. They're just itty bitty tiny tweaks. I've also included it as one of the ones that I do on my classes that typically meet Mondays and Wednesdays. Now, please ignore the dates in this document because the due dates for your assignments will be on the assignment details in Canvas, as well as they'll be in the gradebook section of Canvas. I believe they put it there. So these dates are for a class that meets face-to-face. If you ever have any questions, you're ever confused, of course, please check in during one of the open office hour things that I do, whether it's face-to-face, call me on the phone, swing by my office if you live close. But nonetheless, I want to go over the course. Okay, so we have the syllabus in front of us here. I'm not going to go over every single thing in the syllabus. That is for you definitely to read. Keep in mind, if this is your first time ever in a college class, the syllabus acts as the contract between the instructor and the student. So I'm agreeing to do these things in this syllabus, and you're agreeing to follow those instructions. What is important and what is accurate on here are some of the details, such as my name, James Thompson, talked about that in the previous video, call me whatever you wish. I do have an office if you are located in or around Porterville. We are, I am in the Communication Arts Building, room 10, CA10, that is my office location. Office phone number 791, let me back up, area code 559-791-2238. My office hours, these are my face-to-face in-class office hours. Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 11 and 2:30 to 3, and Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. or by appointment. And I am intending to set up some online schedulable office hours. You should see those in your calendar in the days and weeks to come. If there are changes to these office hours, the default ones, I will let you guys know in an announcement or a revised schedule. My email is findable on the Porterville College website, but it is listed here as well, jathomps@portervillecollege.edu. A good note would be that when you send me an email or a message, if it is an email, and you can do that through Canvas or just your own email, I recommend using your school email account. That's where you get most of your linked information anyways. But when you type something to me in the subject line, put the word speech. That's a good way for me to know that it's a student sending me an email and not like one of my deans or bosses that I'll probably ignore for a while anyways. I'm teasing, of course, but that will be more likely to get you the quickest response. I also have an external website. Now, this is not something that you have to have or ever have to use, but being that this is the first time I've taught it online, I have used a lot of online resources, and I had created a third-party website that was just really easy for me to post useful links, replications of assignment details, etc., etc. And that website is wetalkgooder.weebly.com. And if you're opening the electronic version of the syllabus, you should be able to click this link right here, and then it'll send you to this web page. Assuming it'll open now. Okay, now I'm on a desktop version of it. If you happen to be using a mobile device, it will be formatted slightly differently to be more easy to navigate from a phone or a tablet or whatever the case may be. But this is the website, and these are all active tabs or links. There'll be drop downs no matter whether you're on a phone or an actual desktop. And what I would say is, although there's a ton of information on here, the courses tab is where you're going to probably go more often than not if you're looking for something extra. Public speaking is the class you want, and the public speaking documents page is the page that has all the stuff. Now, I think it's going a bit slow because it's also trying to record me live, but nonetheless, when you get to the documents page, I arrange it in 2 columns. Mobile format stacks these columns, so you have to scroll really far down the page to see the one I call extra stuff. But nonetheless, you'll see everything here from demonstrations of certain assignments that I have you do, including the speech activity, sample outline templates, sample portions of my notes and whatnot that I'm going to do. I will be intending to record and post my weekly lectures that I do. I don't normally do that. I never give my students my PowerPoints or whatnot. It's just something that I don't agree to do I don't think I should do it. But for the online class, what I've decided to do is that after I give the lecture in one of these Monday, Wednesday classes, because they're usually on the most accelerated schedule, I'm going to post them to your Canvas site. So while it's not interactive, if you want to hear what you would normally hear in a normal 85-minute class on a subject that maybe when you're reading it, it makes a little less sense, you can do that. And you can fast forward through it and do whatever you want. So those are going to come up as the semester progresses because I haven't recorded them yet. So you can kind of get a gist when we get back to the syllabus with the calendar when you're going to see stuff. But anyways, there is nothing on here you have to have. I will give you everything you need through Canvas and in the adaptive formats. But I have so many great resources that I put together over the years here that I wanted to make you aware of this in case you want to go filter through it for looking for samples or extra help. Okay, going back to the syllabus. So what do you need to have? Well, the course itself, you probably guessed that we're going to talk about how to do speeches better in public, and we absolutely are. But what you maybe didn't think of is that this class is also a basic communication course, so we're trying to tell you, teach you how to be a better communicator overall, whether that's one-on-one or in a large group, like in a public speaking setting. So you're going to learn how to be a better receiver of messages as well as a creator of them. And we hope you'll be more confident and comfortable and competent to do them. Okay, you do have to get a textbook for this class, and especially for those of you who may not watch these videos, and even if you did, there's not all the content you need on just the lectures I do in class, even in a face-to-face. The book is titled Speak Well. It's by Liz O'Brien. I've given the ISBN number and the publisher's date here, and you can get it through the college bookstore, or if you want to order it online somewhere else, you want to get it and want to get it as soon as possible. It's not crazy expensive. It's been out for a while, so there's used copies obviously on Chegg and various places that you might find. The recommended textbook is a style manual. So if you've ever bought a writer's reference manual that teaches you how to write in APA or MLA format, like if you have an English class, you have one of these already. If you haven't bought it yet, you will. You're probably good with what you have there, so long as it has APA format in it, and it probably does, but you might want to just check that. If you don't, I recommend getting this one, Pocket Style Manual. I think they actually do have a slightly newer version of it, but anything from 2015 or newer will still be usable, and they're a lot cheaper. These are like $15 to $20 brand new versus some of the full writer's reference manuals, which can be $50, $60. So I would recommend getting that. You'll use it in this class and a whole bunch of other ones. Student learning outcomes, those are the specific skills or competencies you should leave this course with when you pass it, but I'll let you read those at your leisure. The grade distribution does summarize all of our graded assignments. Now, remember what I said. This is for a face-to-face class, and I didn't delete their due dates. They're not going to be the same as your due dates, but they'll be similar. They'll be within a week or so. And I decided to leave it in here for your reference because you sort of get an idea when things are coming up. I've listed all the assignments on here in terms of their relative due date, so not so much grouping them by assignment type. But in a nutshell, you're going to do 3 presentations that are formal in front of an audience. Those are the ones you guys will have to record and upload with the parameters that I explained before. But in addition to that, there are some written assignments. There's one major test. There are some smaller interaction assignments that I'm going to have you do to get some of these points. The one thing that won't show up quite the same way on your Canvas shell and in your class that does in face-to-face is that I do a lot of in-class activities that I can keep track of on paper more quickly than anything else, and so that's what I do. I've had to set similar but different types of assignments up with Canvas so you guys can interact with one another. Discussion boards will be part of that, but that's not it. The first major thing you have to do is actually do a video conversation with one other person you find in the class, go through a series of questions, and then write a response to it and upload that. Well, those are all going to be clumped together in what you will see here. They have what are called participation points. They normally wouldn't see the individual scores they get for all those. You guys very well may see them separated, but the participation scoring activities will all add up to 100 points. So these are all the points possible. At the end of the semester, there's 1,000 points possible in the course. That will be the same for you. The one thing that'll be different, like I said, is the way that I calculate these 100 points of participation is through the activities, discussion boards, smaller assignments that I clump together on Canvas. And again, if this is ever confusing to you, please let me know and I can help clarify it in another video or a future discussion or just over the phone. My grading scale is pretty straightforward. 90% to 100 is an A. So in this class, you got to get 900 points and you get an A. If you see here, I've only listed the A, the B, and the C. Well, a C is 700 points at least, up to 799 out of 1,000. The reason I didn't list the lower number is that most of you are taking this course to satisfy a general education requirement known as the A1 oral communication requirement for the CSUs and otherwise. It is considered one of the golden 4 requirement areas. And so those areas, you must get a C or better to pass the course. So, I mean, I could assign you a letter grade of D, and if you were technically earned that, it would go in your transcripts, but most of you are going to try to get a C or better anyways. So I wanted to kind of explain that. All right, now this next page and a half is showing their schedule, okay? I thought this would be useful to you, but please don't focus too much on the dates because the dates, especially due dates, are not your due dates. I know I've said that before, but I hope if you weren't kind of zoomed, focused in, you're paying attention now. I still thought this would be good so you have an idea, even though I've set the modules up in Canvas to kind of emulate this, you can kind of see what we're going through and when and in what week. So even though it's not your class, generally speaking, in the first week, I want to get through chapters 1 and chapter 3. And I skipped chapter 2. It's not a bad chapter. It's just not one I focus on in class, and I actually don't test you on it either. It is super helpful, but that's not what I do in the regular class, and so that's what you'll see on these calendars. So you get a kind of sense. I'm hoping as much as I can, you can kind of feel like you're in the face-to-face class, even though you don't have to go to a face-to-face class every day or twice a week. So anyways, that's what this is. And so hopefully that is helpful. But again, don't focus on their dates here because those are not your due dates. So I'm going to go past that. Additional policies, these are stuff that are true in face-to-face classes, more so than others. But there are things in here like the students with disabilities are required, that may require assistance are reminded it's your responsibility to identify yourself to the Disability Resource Center, which can be contacted on campus at 559-791-2215, and to your instructor myself so that reasonable accommodations for learning and evaluation can be made. In a nutshell, if you have a learning disability or if you have some other physical ailment that you're dealing with, whether it's temporary or long-term, let me know, right? I want to help you out. I can't make the assignments easier for you, like a lower standard, but if there's a different way that you can demonstrate to me that you have the knowledge and the competencies, we're going to do that. And if you're not even sure what those might be, that's why we want you to contact what we call the Disability Resource Center, because there is a lot of technologies and ways they can help you by setting up tutors or note takers or all sorts of different things that you could potentially use, even in an online class. So we recommend you reach out to them. Don't cheat. It's kind of hard to cheat on a speech, but even in a virtual mode, when a person gets a speech, for example, which is where most of your points come from, and somebody else wrote it for them and they go up in front of a room, they end up reading it. And if you read your speeches all semester, you won't pass this course. It's public speaking, not public reading. And we're going to talk about that. I promise it's not as hard as it may seem to some of you. It's actually really the thing we do to help you prepare for the actual spoken event makes the doing of the speaking easy. But you may not feel that way right now. Just understand, don't cheat on a speech and have somebody else write it, because I've never seen anybody successfully be given a speech that somebody else created for them and deliver it well enough to get a passing grade. So doesn't mean you're going to always get a perfect score. Big deal. I mean, I don't get a perfect score. This is not a perfect video. This is not a perfect example of public speaking. I keep looking at my picture over here in the corner and not at you where I should be looking. So, you know, nobody's perfect. But cheating will end up in zeros. There are some assignments that are more traditional, and it is not super hard to figure out when a person might have plagiarized or cheated. So please don't do that. And if you have questions about it, let me know. Okay. One more thing that is on the syllabus that is of importance. Oh, I apologize. A number of semesters ago, students were curious, well, generally speaking, how do I get an A or a B on a speech? And what's the difference in a C and a D on a speech? So I included this sort of summary of my speech grading rubric so you get a general gist of what is an A versus what is a B versus what is a C. And in terms of speeches, there's 3 major areas, and some of the smaller ones we're only focusing primarily on one of them. But the 3 major areas for a fully developed speech are content, organization, and delivery. So you got to really do well on all 3 of those to be able to get a great score. Somebody might be a really confident speaker and they might be funny, but if they're not very organized or they don't really have any material that's new or meaningful, then they can't get a great score, even though they might have been entertaining and didn't say and were funny and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I included that because it was asked. what I thought we were at, which we weren't quite yet, is the last 2 pages of the syllabus, and this is something that would be useful to you, is a late work supplement. Now, here's what you need to know, and I said it earlier in one of the policies, if you go in through and read it, I'm like most teachers, I don't accept late work. The one big difference about college from high school and otherwise is we not only want to make sure you understand the concepts and can do these kind of skills at a level that we're expecting, but the real world's not going to let you come in late every day to work and turn in late stuff. And I don't either. And so that's a big thing with me. I know a lot of teachers say that, but I want you to know that I'm one that means it. And so I generally do not accept late work. Having said that, I'm also a human being, so I understand that there might be situations that are completely out of your control. Now, those are not going to be the norm, but they might be. If you think that that's something that you've had happen to you, like for example, what I tell my face-to-face classes is it was a speech day and they were scheduled to do their speech and they were driving to work and they got in a car accident. Well, and they got sent to the ER and they missed class and they show up, didn't email me till later that night with a copy of the work. And they said, hey, I missed class. I got in a car accident. I'm not going to say, okay, everything's good, come in and do your speech. But you can turn in one of these late work supplements. The first page is all the instructions about what counts and what doesn't count. The second page is the actual form that you could print and fill out or do electronically and submit to me. And you provide me what happened, the details, and any proof of it. So in the case of a student, and it's happened occasionally, somebody's gotten a car accident or something like that, that's a pretty easy thing to document, right? Here was the date and time. Here's a copy of the police report. This is my name and my social security number. Here's a copy of my entrance badge with all that information on it. I swear I wasn't just trying to get 2 extra days to do my speech. But anyways, I will consider anything you submit, but I want you to know going into it that if it's not in on time, you shouldn't expect to get anything for it. I'm not saying you don't submit it and ask, but if you're going to do that, you must submit it with one of these late assignment request forms, and you must submit one of these within 1 week of the original due date. If it's been more than 1 week, unless you were in a coma for 3 weeks, I won't even look at it. But I would recommend, hey, I got something done. I want to submit it. Maybe he doesn't accept it for points. It might be a scenario where I let you turn it into me. I decide it's not really worth giving you points. It was something you could have avoided in my judgment, but I decide to give you feedback, right? I mean, maybe it was a speech, hopefully not a big points one, but maybe it was a smaller one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to give you any points because you didn't follow instructions and it wasn't excused. But I want to give you some tips. I want to tell you, okay, well, you did actually improve here. This outline looks good here, whatever. Here's some feedback. That way you can at least get something for the efforts that you put in and get that back. Again, 1 week. And you might get most or all of the points, depending on what your situation is. But what I want you to get out of this is that I don't accept late work. If you want me to at least consider it as a human being, I'll do that, no problem. But it must be in writing, and you must have one of these attached, and any other documentation that can help prove what it was that you said happened that was beyond your control. Again, just like anything, if you have any questions about these, please let me know. Call me, swing by my office if you're local, send me an email, chat with us on one of these online office hours that I'm going to be setting up, etc. In a nutshell, I teach because I want you guys to be more confident and competent with what it is that you're doing in the real world. Some of you, I know you're never thinking, oh, I'm going to go be a motivational speaker, or I'm going to go be a lawyer, I'm going to be a minister or a preacher. Well, those are actually great careers that use public speaking every single day. But the reality is public speaking is used every single day in every single interaction you have. And this is not just a public speaking class. This is a basic communication course. So every single time you meet a new person in your friend's life, your family life, at church, in a class, at a nightclub, you're trying to pick up on somebody, these skills are core to being a human being. And every one of you are going to probably want to get a job that you consider a career that you like, it's meaningful, and it pays you the way that you're hoping to be rewarded. And these skills about public speaking are really important to help you with that. And I want you guys to be more comfortable doing that and more competent. I've been doing this a while, so I hope that you feel and you find that it's useful, the feedback that I give you. And I hope that answers the bulk of your questions about what we're doing in terms of the assignments, but please read through the syllabus. Remember, this is a sample from a Monday, Wednesday face-to-face class. If you want, the primary differences are going to be the due dates on the assignments, which you will see in your Canvas shell, as well as the one assignment that's listed as participation score in the little spreadsheet thing that's on the first page is going to be different because you guys have, I don't see you every day, so I can't just put you in a group and watch what you do and give you some credit for that. I have to set up unique, different things in Canvas, which will all combine for 100 points. So your score totals will be the same. This 100 points might be broken up in a slightly different way. Well, it will be broken up in a slightly different way than a face-to-face. So hope that gives you a better sense of what this class is all about. I'll restate one more thing about the speeches that are formal. We're going to do smaller assignments, but the 3 formal speeches, you're going to get approval from me and from the venue where you want to go. Say you want to go to Starbucks, you got to go talk to the store manager, make sure they're okay with you doing a speech in front of people. And if there's people in the audience that you don't know, you need to ask their permission that you can record them. You can bring 6 people with you, but you have to have at least 6 adults in the video that I can see. You have to be framed in the video. You have to be loud enough for me to hear you. So there's a couple of things that will influence where you want to go and how you want to do it. If you decide to buy external microphones or things that you then mix the video with the audio, you can do that, but I'm not mandating that. You just have to find something else that would work. Now, when you upload them, obviously they'll have to be uploaded by the assigned due date. All of the formal speeches, of which, remember, I'm planning on 3 big formal speeches, will require an outline. That outline will be typed, and it has to be in a speaking outline form, so it won't be crazy long. It's not going to be full sentences. It's not a script, and I'll be expecting that you use that outline when you're delivering the speech. Now, again, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to give you details. Some people will say, oh, I'll do the outline because I saw what Mr. Thompson talked about, and it's this real short thing that just gives me keywords and phrases and a few details on some of the harder stuff. But I'll turn that in. But when I go up in front of the room and speak, I'm going to write everything out. I'm going to write all the words out. That's a terrible idea for 2 reasons. One, you will not sound good. You will almost certainly not sound good. You'll sound robotic. You'll sound fake, I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it. And the second reason is that's not what I asked you to do. You won't get good credit for it because that's not the attempt to do what we're trying to have you do. But I promise, if you follow my instructions and you use the outlines that we're going to talk about, it's going to be easier. Perfect? No such thing, but better. So please trust me on that. And again, my door and my phone and email are always open, and reach out to me. But those have to be uploaded, and you'll need to use either an MP4 format when you save your files to upload them, or you can upload the video file to YouTube potentially, and then embed the link when you send it as a submission. That might even be an easier way for some of you, because a lot of you are probably very familiar with how to upload videos to YouTube. If not, go to youtube.com and say, how do I upload a video to YouTube? And they will show you a video of how to do that. I will give you what technical help I can, but this format of Canvas and online and Confer Zoom and whatnot is it is the student's responsibility to feel comfortable and reach out your own help if you need tech support. So there's all sorts of help on Canvas on where you can get that, and I can point you in some of those right directions, but understand that I may not be able to answer all those questions, and that won't necessarily, that does not allow you to turn something in a day late because I didn't know the answer to how to get your computer to talk correctly with mine or how to get it internet access. I mean, look, if Canvas goes down 3 hours before a deadline, I'm going to be able to document that. So obviously I'll consider that for people that were saying they were trying to submit it, right? But that if you couldn't figure out how to get logged on, that's on you guys. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that's another one of those things about this course that makes it unique. I tell my face-to-face class students never wait till the last minute to write an outline or create a speech. If I was you guys, if you had something due on a Sunday that you had to upload by midnight, man, you should tell yourself, I got to upload it by midnight on Saturday. Because that way, in case your computer crashes or our computers crash, you got 24 whole hours to figure it out. So that's my suggestion. I don't want to go too crazy long in this video. I already feel like it's long enough. So I hope it made you a little more comfortable with what we'll be doing this semester to help increase your ability to communicate in general, and a little more focus on how to communicate in public settings. So till the next time.